so I think we've waited a little bit, and so we're going to get started. So again, welcome. My name is Lauren, and I am a member of Big Cartel Support, and we are here today to talk about running your Big Cartel shop during these really different times. So again, I just want to send a virtual hug out to all of you. It's been a long year, right? But thank you for taking time out of your day. I think ways to connect like this are so great. A few housekeeping items. Class is going to be recorded. If you have to dodge out for any reason, I'm sure all of us are balancing a million things right now from home. So we'll email you a recording in about 24 hours after this recording is this live class is finished. And then I'm going to save some time for questions at the end. I won't be able to see your chat while I'm kind of taking you through the presentation, but I promise to scroll back and get as many questions as I can at the end. Now, what we are going to cover today, we're going to talk about kind of ways to pivot during this really different time. We're going to talk a little bit about using pre-orders or pre-sales in your shop and kind of how to go about that, and also some things to look out for. We're going to talk about pickup and local delivery options. This is something that we've seen many shops offer to, people in their area, and there's been a really great response. We've heard back from quite a few shops that this has been a really great option for them. We're also going to talk a little bit about new and different shipping practices, not only because shipping times are extended, but maybe ways that you deal with returns or exchanges, or if you deal with them at all. We're also going to talk a little bit about using maybe third-party fulfillment companies at this point, so that you're kind of taking your hands out of the whole deal and it has one less person to travel through. We can also talk about selling digital goods for a little bit. So even better than nothing passing hands, we're just selling digital goods over the interwebs. So that's a great way to maybe mitigate some of the sales that you may have lost for places like markets or in-person sales. We'll also chat just a little bit about cultivating and enriching your customer base. Now, if you are privileged enough to have a customer base already, this is actually a really good time to start enriching those relationships, especially if you decided not to sell during this time, if you're in a privileged position of not having to sell. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then finally, and probably most importantly, is we're going to talk about creating during times of change and times of stress. And I think that will be hopefully a good place to leave off and take any questions that you may have. So I'd like to actually hop over to a Big Cartel shop admin. The first thing I wanted to discuss is pre-orders or pre-sales. This is a great way to take a little bit of the risk about ordering a bunch of merchandise or creating many pieces of art before you have people who are essentially wanting to buy your work. So Big Cartel allows pre-orders. Now, one little caveat I did want to talk about is make sure, depending on the payment processor you're using, PayPal or Stripe, that you're also operating within the time frame that they allow pre-orders. I know PayPal has a set amount of time. I don't know the exact number, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's around 20 days. So you're going to want to check with PayPal depending on which country you're in as well, because those regulations and rules do change. But you want to make sure you're able to ship within that pre-order window that they have as well if they're processing that payment, to make sure you're protected and as well as your shopper, correct? All right, so a pre-order, right? Before, things started to change in the world, a lot of people would order their merchandise, they would have 50 in stock and then set it up for sale. And let's say they have 25 sales. That's all good and fine when you've got more wiggle room for error, correct? In a perfect world, you would order 50 items and you would sell 50 and then you would be done. Or you would create 25 items and you would sell 25 items quickly and then you would be finished and have a new product listing. In these more uncertain times, it can be nice to know that you have customers already excited about your product and either paying you in full for the product with a pre-order or a pre-sale, or giving you a down payment so that you have ways to maybe buy more materials and get that created, or even set aside time to know, like, hey, I've got 5 buyers, for this type of print. So I can set aside time for that because I know that I'm going to be able to create these and get these into the hands of my customers. So a few things to do with the pre-order or pre-sale option. First, you're going to want to head to, of course, the products that you're offering for pre-sale or pre-order. And you want to make it super clear that this is a pre-order or a pre-sale, meaning this is something that doesn't necessarily exist yet or it's in the process of being made. Now, another caveat that's important is to know that manufacturing times, if you're using a third party or a manufacturer, their lead times are a lot longer as well. So this is something that you also want to take into consideration before, promising things or promising a timeline that you may not be able to adhere to. So I know a lot of shops right now are really extending the time that they say they're able to ship something because they also know it's taking a longer time for their manufacturers to get those items in the mail to them. And then, of course, it takes longer for the mail to get to them. So back to the pre-order, let's say you're doing a pre-order, you're doing a pre-sale, you've got your lead times relatively down, you know what payment processor you're using, you're operating within the confines there, and you want to, post this piece of art or this item that you want to sell. You want to mark super clearly that this item is for a pre-order or pre-sale. And you also want to be really clear about, how long you're accepting the pre-orders and when these are expected to ship out. And then also, if you do have any sort of idea on delivery times, you want to be really clear and concise about that as well. In doing this, again, I think in any time of change or shift, or when the waters are a little rocky, you can never go wrong with over communicating with your customers. And in this way, they have a clear idea and their expectations are set clearly, and you also have clear boundaries in which you can operate from, so that you're not letting your shoppers down with this pre-order or pre-sale. So you've got your pre-order, pre-sale done, you've got those orders coming in. So let's move on to maybe using some discount codes to drum up some business. So we're going to head to the discount code section. First of all, I have seen some amazing sales going on where shops are saying, hey, if you buy now, you can get 15% off, on 15 or 20 or 25% off, whatever you choose, on a purchase 6 months down the line when the sun is shining, the waters have calmed. That's a great way to drum up business right now if you've seen kind of a dip in sales. Other shops are seeing their sales skyrocket because more people are online, more people are, shopping online right now because we aren't able to go out. And this is also a great way to reward those shoppers, and bring this return business back for shoppers that maybe have just found you. So using your discount codes is also a really great way to help with kind of a local delivery or local pickup option. A lot of shops have just decided that they aren't shipping right now. They want to take their items out of the whole shipping equation, but they are now offering local pickup or local delivery. And that's something that can be easily done with a discount code. So here you'll see I have local delivery, and I'm just offering free shipping on any order who, orders something in my shop. Now, this is also where clear communication is super important, because you want to let your shoppers know, I can't deliver to Antarctica because, I live in Australia. So again, back to those product listings and that clear communication. If you are offering local delivery or local pickup, be sure you say, hey, I'm only delivering in the Austin area. If you're outside of Travis County, I'm sorry, we're going to have to ship this to you. Now, other folks have realized, local delivery, that takes up a lot of time. You're using, resources to pay for gas money in the car, wear and tear on your car. So some people are keeping their local fee, but they are increasing the shipping price. So, even though I'm putting United States, instead of my shipped alone price for this bandana previously being $5, maybe I'll offer it for $10 now. And with the caveat saying, hey, if you're in the Austin area, I'm going to be able to drop this off. Of course, keeping, ways to social distance in play, and keeping everyone safe. Another way, you could also offer possibly pickup. Like if you have a storefront that you now have to shutter and you aren't allowed to have customers in, having folks choose local pickup as a discount code is a way for them to save on shipping, and then they can drive to possibly your storefront where you set out their orders, at a certain time or a certain place. So there are really great ways to mitigate either not wanting to ship or not being able to ship, or those extended shipping times. Let's say you also are someone who sells baked goods. This is a great way too to get things really fresh to your customer's doorstep, possibly something that they wouldn't have ordered in the past. So again, just depending on what type of business you have, this is a great way to be thinking about how you can, kind of pivot with what's going on right now. One other thing that I wanted to discuss while we're kind of in our storefront is shipping and returns. So again, we've already kind of talked about extended shipping times, extended lead times for, possibly ordering your products or ordering things that you're having manufactured elsewhere. But back to that clear and concise communication and how important that is for your shoppers. So I say over communication again. If you can add a note in your product listing saying that, shipping times have been extended, you're not able to offer priority or express shipping at this point in time. You also have the option, if you head to your customized design section in your shop's admin, you have a place where you can add a little note, FYI, shipping times are just extended. You also have the option to add a custom page in your shop to talk about your new shipping and return policies. Now, again, this would be a great place to communicate with your customers that shipping times might be taking longer. You only ship out 1 day a week to cut down on your trip to your shipping carrier, less exposure in that way. You also can discuss your new shop policies. Maybe your shipping and returns have changed quite drastically with these new times. Maybe you don't accept returns anymore. Maybe you still have a generous return policy, but you hold on to that return in like a separate storage area for 14 days, just for the safety of your customers. Again, these are ways that as long as you communicate this at the outset, you're setting clear expectations for your shoppers in these new and different times and for what they can expect when they order from your shop. And we're all in this together, right? So people are going to understand if something is taking a little bit longer, or if you no longer accept returns, or maybe they'll feel comforted knowing, if I buy something from this shop, this is something that is, fresh from the inventory and hasn't just been at someone else's home. So again, all of these ways to mitigate these really uncertain and new times. Again, over communication is really key. I feel over communication is the key for like every human interaction, but we won't go into that. So let's talk a little bit about third-party options that you can integrate in your shop. So let's say you just want to take yourself completely out of the creation and the shipping game, and you can use a third party. We integrate with Printful and Art of Wear, which is a great option if you have artistic designs that you want put on pieces of clothing, accessories. And again, it's just a few clicks to integrate. But I do want to mention that Art of Wear right now has had an initiative come down from the Canadian government. They're located in Canada, where they are considered non-essential. So you're going to want to check with them to see when possible times are when they can begin shipping again. And even Printful, while they are integrating, their latest update does say that lead times are going to be extended. So you want to be sure you're doing your research before you're making promises to your shoppers. Now, let's say we just want to cut all physical goods off of your roster. You can start selling digital goods. Let's say that you are an artist and you want to create like a paint by number kit, or you want to sell, music sheets for the music that you've written, or even just little tutorials. Like if you're a makeup shop, like maybe you want to sell a few videos on like how to do a smoky eye or the perfect manicure. There's really a lot of ways for you to broaden your horizons and still get your products in customers' hands, but just not necessarily physical products. So I just wanted to bring your attention really quickly to our sister service, Pulley. Pulley is a way to really easily integrate with your Big Cartel shop, where customers can visit your Big Cartel shop, add digital goods to their cart, and check out through your Big Cartel shop, and Pulley will email that customer your digital goods after purchase is complete. So it's a really nice way to, again, if you wanted to get into the digital goods game during this time, Pulley would be a great way to explore that. We also offer a trial time with it. So let's say you wanted to dip your toes in, give it a look. If it wasn't your cup of tea, no worries at all. You can go ahead and cancel your service and no love lost. It's all right. Maybe digital goods isn't what you wanted to do during this time. All right, so let's talk just a little bit about building your customer base during this time. I'm sure you all have been inundated with emails from services that you don't even remember using, right? There are many shops who have decided and are in the privileged position to essentially not sell anything during this time, but really take time to build up their relationships with their customers. People are reading more emails now. People are checking and clicking on more emails now. So now would be a really great time to probably, if you wanted to start an email list with your previous customers, or if you wanted to start building that up, we also integrate with MailChimp as a really seamless way to start emailing and contacting those customers. And I will say some of the emails that I have really looked forward to are from shops that aren't talking about their products, but they're talking about like what they're doing now, not even their creative process. Like what kind of chocolate chip cookies are they making, or what YouTube video made them laugh, or what silly cat meme they're, wanting to share with their friends. And those are uplifting. And I will say, during times of stress too, and times of change, you want to decide what kind of shop you want to be. Like, do you want to be the shop that is sending 5 emails a day with new sales and more products and buy, buy, buy? Or do you want to be the shop that like lifted people's spirits? Do you want to be the shop that was like, hey, I get it, this is hard. And you might not have a lot of disposable income, but I'm here to talk and I'm going through it with you. Another adage that I really think rings true, not only for selling online, but just in life, is people don't necessarily remember what you say or what was in that email, or even that meme that you sent them, but they do remember how you feel. So this is actually a really great time to start strengthening and cultivating those bonds with your customer base, or even other artists and creators that you can reach out to hopefully, deal with what's going on right now. So finally, and this is, of course, what we talk about as a creator, like, how do I keep creating and hustling during this time? And I just wanted to say that there's no right or wrong way to navigate these times as a creator, or as an online presence, or as an online shop. Times are weird. And so if you are finding it difficult to just hunker down and get, new ideas churned out while you see another artist or another creator pumping out the work, like getting all this stuff out there, and someone's written a book and someone's got their thesis completed, and I mean, that's okay too. You might be invigorated by this social distancing and not having to deal with all of the outside external noise, and you are creating at your best. But it's also okay if this is a stressful time. There are about 1,000,001 other things going on right now than just selling online, right? So it's okay if you're not creating. So I just wanted to tell you to be gentle with yourself, and the waters will calm, and you'll absolutely be able to start selling again in the future. All right, so